disease. It might well be a disease. It could just be demonic, or it could be a demonic disease. But I don't think there's going to be a cure for this thing called Facebook. Now, we all know that there's uses for these kinds of technologies, but the sad thing is that they tend to just become kind of wicked in all kinds of ways. I read this, and I think it was the New York Times. I think they said this: thanks to Facebook, the concept of befriending has become part of the online culture. With the click of a mouse, you can remove someone from your friend roster and never again see an annoying status update or another vacation photo from a person you want out of your life. Now, I thought that last portion there where they said that, never again see an annoying status update or another vacation photo from a person you want out of your life. I thought that was very significant. The idea here is that people can just be disposed of with the click of a button. And I put it to you that this is the mentality of the world that we live in today. Facebook friendships are a picture of how much this world system cares about you and I. 1 minute you're their friend, they're all interested in your life, the next thing you're defriended and cut off and gone from their lives. But we tend to think that the Facebook friendships scenario is a new phenomenon. But we've had Facebook friendships for a very long time, well before Facebook came along and the internet existed. I put it to you that it's always been this way in a Christless world. It's always been this way in a secular and religious world system that is outside of Christ. I remember we have a friend of ours, Allison. She has taken serious thought over the years about Christ and attended worship on a number of occasions for a long period of time. And I remember having some good conversations with Allison. Very smart lady, well-educated, successful career. And I remember sitting talking to her over coffee one day in Putnam, Connecticut, and we were talking about Christ and talking about life, and we got onto the subjects of friends. And I remember she said to me this: she says, I've got a lot of friends, but I don't trust any of them. I wouldn't tell them anything because I wouldn't give them ammunition. And that struck me, for someone who's not a Christian, to have to deal with their friends in that way. If that's how her friends treat her, what about her enemies? How did they treat her if that's how she has to interact with her friends? See, the world has been like this for a long time. The New York Times again said this: at the end of life, everybody ends up with 3 or 4 good friends. This was what the article said. And you see them on the holidays, or you see them on vacation. But the real truth behind this is, outside of Christ, there's 3 or 4 people who can put up with you or tolerate you 3 times a year. Or there's 3 or 4 people when you're outside of Christ that you can tolerate or put up with 3 or 4 times a year. And this is the system of this world. And Paul addresses this in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. He says this: you, talking about the Christians, walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit who's now works in the sons of disobedience. And when he says the course of this world, what he's talking about there is a man-centered system of death that doesn't care about you and me and us. This world as we know it, this system of this world, this course of this world, is divided from top to bottom. And you and I know and have seen it over the last few years that it's fragmenting from the inside out. They're warring with each other from left to right and right to left, from top to bottom. And listen, this is always the way it's been in the world without Christ. We're living in a fragmented secular and religious world system that is filled with Facebook friendships. People who see us as nothing but a free meal ticket, or 5 minutes of entertainment, or a contribution in the offering plate, or a statistic on a growth chart that they have within some room in their church building, or a seat that is filled on a Sunday morning. That's the kind of world we live in, fragmented. It does not care about us. But the good news is that God in Jesus